Hello class, it's Mary Moen, your professor, and today I'm going to go over the Focus on Assessment assignment. So if you go to the LSC 596 Fall 2 Brightspace course, you can follow along with me. I'm going to click on Assignments up here, and I'm going to scroll down, Focus on Assessment. You can see I've also attached the rubric and 4 examples of student work for you to review. So let's take a look at the assignment. This video is embedded in the assignment if you ever want to watch it. The purpose of this assignment is to provide you with an opportunity to demonstrate your knowledge and that you can implement using different types of assessment in instruction. And this is a required assignment across all URI School of Education educator preparation programs, of which School Library is one of them. And there's 6 different categories of assessment strategies that you have to demonstrate evidence of doing in this course. Now, for those of you in the traditional student teaching, you are going to pick 2 of these for each session, 2 in fall 2, 2 different ones in spring 1, and the last 2 in spring 2. For those of you in the non-traditional, you have to show all 6 in this session. So the categories are multiple assessments. So you use multiple formative assessments that build on each other and lead to a summative assessment. The summative assessment could just be like a worksheet, a rubric, a Google form. It doesn't have to be a huge thing, because in school library world, we don't do that much summative assessment. The second one is clear criteria. It means that students understand the criteria that they're being assessed by, and then they're able to self-assess themselves. This could be checklists, reflections. It could be they self-assess their own rubric. It can be I can statements. I can do this, that match your SLOs. The third one is learner differences. This is assessment that accommodates differences among learners. This can be things like you give students a choice in how they show their learning. And it could also be like, for example, if you had some ELL students in the class and you were evaluating websites, and maybe you wanted the class to evaluate 3 websites. Well, you might change that to ELLs only have to do 2 because they're a little bit slower, but you would still say that's competent in each situation. Clear record means that you keep track of what your students learn and you communicate the results to students. Communication can be written, like if you wrote on their work and handed it back to them. It could even be orally if you're speaking to kids or giving feedback to the group. Effective teaching. So you use student work and you use it to inform like what you should do differently next time. Like how well was my teaching? And we're doing that constantly. We teach a lesson, we go, this could be improved, and then we teach it again. Plan for instruction. This is like you've assessed the kids and you realize, like 3 kids really didn't get it, so that you plan for future instruction for them. Or you could do your unit or whatever, your lesson that you're doing, and you could say, okay, well, next year I'm going to plan it a little differently. So that's using assessment to plan for future instruction. And please read this. I just sort of described what you're supposed to do. Like I said, 2 for traditional candidates, 2 for each 7-week session over the next 3 7-week sessions. And non-traditional, you have to do all 6. So I have some helpful links here. So this document we're going to view, and here are those same 6 assessment categories: multiple assessments, clear criteria. And so let's look at number 1, multiple assessments, multiple formative assessments. Well, look at this. I have a list of 60 right here that you could try using. And I give you suggestions to using rubrics, whatever. And in this assignment, you actually have to show evidence of it. So these are examples. In your lesson plan, you should have the assessment strategies listed. You could have like the actual exit ticket or rubric. You could even have student work, but you need to like digitize some examples to show that you are competent in each of the categories. And I'm not going to go through them all, but you can read through these to see what are the strategies to show clear criteria. That's in column 2 here. And in the right column, well, what's the evidence? So there's examples here. So now I hope people find this next document helpful. This is a template to organize and complete your assignment. So you're going to copy this and rename it as the file naming convention specified up here. And you are going to use these tables in this template. So you can see number 1, multiple assessments. That's the first category. I'm asking you to supply a brief description of the lesson this happened and the learning objectives. I'm going to ask you to list the assessment strategies from the lesson plan, and then you're going to add a screenshot or link or something to the student work, whatever like it is. And then you're going to reflect on that experience by responding to these prompts. And here again, for clear criteria, ask you those 3 things. There's different prompts for this one, so forth. So those of you in the traditional path, and you need to show 2 in fall 2, you can pick any 2 and in any order, just as long as like you finish all 6 by the end of spring 2. So at this point, I really recommend that you look at the examples of student work. So why don't we just take a quick look? Okay. So here's the first one. So the student gave me the student learning objectives. They described it a little bit. They listed the assessment strategies, the formative and then the summative, and then they they responded to the prompts. Here's another one. They had a 4th grade storyboard that lesson, and so they described it briefly. They have some evidence of what students did. They have the learning objectives. They have the assessment strategies, and they attached links to the self-assessment checklist, and then they had a short reflection. Here's number 3, the 1st grade story element lesson. They did the same thing here. So this is very doable. But the thing is, you have to plan. Let's take a look at example number 2. I think this person, yeah, the same thing. See, they describe it. They link to the lesson plan. They have the SLOs. You don't need the standards, by the way. They have the assessment strategies they used, and then they linked to the Google form. And this person actually included some data on the questions. You don't have to do that, but they're just different ways that students actually enact these different types of categories. But I recommend you look at all 4 examples. So hopefully this helps. And if you have any questions, look back to this assignment. And if you're still not clear, please contact me. All right, good luck.